What's going on, Mac Fitness Fit family? It is a Friday, and you know what we do here on Fridays? It's a fucking Friday, so we've got another Amrap for you today. We got new ones for you this week, and it's going to run through for the next 4 weeks. So remember, guys, pick and try and select one of the metrics that you're going to use, whether it's trying to improve your weight, trying to improve your time, trying to improve your rounds. What metric are you going to use to try and gauge how you progress through the next 4 weeks? Keep that at top of mind. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into the actual workout. You know how we do this, guys. We're going to go through the warm-up, we'll go through the exercises, and then we'll actually demonstrate that. So it is going to be an AMRAP. It's going to be 28 minutes long. And you're going to go through, again, guys, as many rounds as possible, rest as needed. And again, we always chase quality reps, not necessarily the quantity, right? We don't want to sacrifice form and the possibility of getting injured just to get an extra few reps in on the AMRAP, guys. So keep that in mind. Let's move into the warm-up, which is going to be our kneeling hip flexor stretches. We're then going to go into our inchworms, finishing out with some shoulder cars. Getting into the actual workout here, we're gonna crank through these. It's gonna be 10 side step hang squats. Could be from a hang, could be goblet, depends. I'll leave this one up to you on how you feel comfortable. Some people tend to get the back issues. We'll talk about what that means, and that's gonna be 10 each. We're going right and left on those side steps. That equals 1 rep. We're then gonna go into 10 foam rolled leg curls. We're then gonna go into 10 overhead laterals, something we haven't done, so it's a new move. I'll explain that, and then we'll finish out with 10 per side plank kick throughs. All right, so let's go into the warm-up exercise. First one here is going to be our kneeling hip flexor stretch. Let me see if I can't bring this camera down just a little bit for us for this one here, so you guys can get the view that we're looking for. All right, so first one here, we are going to go down into this 90-90 position, 90 degrees front and back leg. If you do have a mat or something to keep that back leg under, that's going to be fine. What we want to do here is make sure that we're tucking the hips under. We've got a neutral pelvis. As we're going through there, I'm going to reach, so the leg that's down is going to be my right leg. I'm going to reach that arm up. I'm going to slightly bring my hips forward. This left hand is going to be on this left leg, and just kind of reaching, slightly driving those hips. We're not arching the back. We're trying to move from the hips, so straight from the hips to the shoulders. As you just start to feel that stretch through the hip flexor and the quad, you're just going to move back and forth there for a little bit, relax, and then get into the next rep. So I'm doing 5 on these, so what does that look like? So I'm gonna go 1, I'm gonna bring it back, tuck the hips in, go forward, 2, bring it back, and so forth. You're gonna get 5 total ones on those kneeling hip flexor stretches on one leg, then you're gonna do the same thing on that other leg. Where are you looking to feel this one? Right here in this hip flexor, right? That's gonna connect upper and lower bodies, right through there. Little bit into the quads as well. Let's go into the next exercise here, which is going to be our inchworms. We are going to go with our feet in a hip distance stance or closer together, nice narrow stance. From here, we're going to hinge at those hips. We're going to get those hands down. We're going to walk out into this plank position and then walk back in. The idea is we want to keep the back of the leg straight so we can feel that stretch with the back of the legs. But depending on our extensibility there, we are going to have to maybe possibly bend those legs. You can come up if you need to. Otherwise, stay down and walk right into the next, so that you can get into 5 of those. And then the last one is going to be our shoulder cars here, right? So our hands are going to be nice and rigid throughout the entire process. We've got a tall posture through this. My hands, my fingertips are flexed, my forearms, my biceps, and my shoulders as well. Core is tight. I'm going to bring those hands up with control as I bring them directly right up and overhead. They're directly overhead now. I open my palms up, reverse all the way back behind me. And then once I get back behind me with control and flexion all the way throughout the body, flexing I should say, we come back to the top, palms face one another, and we come back down. That is going to be 1 rep. So you're going to cycle through those exercises right there, right, for your warm-up. Now we're going to go into the actual workout, all right, and we are going to have the dumbbells in hand. Could be dumbbells, could be kettlebells. Let's bring this camera down just a little bit there. I don't know what happened. All right, so you can have a dumbbell, you can have kettlebell, you can keep it right here in front of us. Feet are gonna be in a nice narrow position. We're gonna take a step out into our normal squat stance. We're not going any wider, we're not going into a lateral lunge. We're gonna come down in here, bring the feet back together, and then back over to that other side. That's 1 rep. Back down through there, bring it back up. That's gonna be 2 reps. You're gonna get 10 of those before moving on to the next exercise here, which is gonna be our foam roller. All right, foam roller hamstring curl. I'm gonna get far enough back so you guys can see this here. We're gonna get that foam roller on the ankles or the Achilles, right? Or the heel to the Achilles. From here, we're gonna lay flat on the back. We're gonna bring those hips up, right? Make sure it's on the Achilles, not resting on the heel. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the lower legs or the heel into that butt, but I want you to think about using the back of the legs throughout all this. As we get to the top, I get a nice contraction of the hamstrings and the glutes. I've got straight lines coming from the knee through the hips to the shoulders, and I bring that out with control, trying to maintain and keep my hips elevated. To do so, right, I'm gonna activate those abdominals as well. Max contraction at the top. We roll it back down. If you do and you have to, you can simply rest, drop the butt back down, and recycle to get to your 10 reps there, right? So you're doing 10 on those. That's gonna be hamstring and glute. Hopefully that's still caught. It's gonna be hamstring and glute on that one. We're then gonna go into our next exercise, which is gonna be our overhand laterals. So I'm gonna take a step back so we can see this. Feet start out in that hip distance stance, soft bend in the knees. We bring a slight hinge in the hips. From here, my palms start out facing one another. And then from here, I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna do like a lateral raise. I'm gonna go all the way overhead. When I finish, my palms are facing away from me. And I'm also standing fully upright, fully extended at the hips. I come back down in that start position, back into that hinge position. As I come up, back in, palms are facing away from me at the top. As they come and circle back down, I bring it back, they finish facing one another. So from a lateral view, what that's gonna look like, I've got that slight hinge in front of me. I'm gonna go into a lateral raise, fully extend at the hips and the knees. The dumbbells come over, my palms face away, and as I go back down through there, we're gonna get 10 reps there. Light load goes a long way. Before, guys, we finish out with our plank kick throughs. A couple options we can do here, right? We're gonna go into a either high plank from this hand position, or we're gonna go into this low plank from here. I'm then gonna kick my one leg through, rotating through the hips, trying to keep the legs or the elbows on the ground. Back over, that would be 1. Back over to each side would be 2. You can also do this from the feet, kicking it all the way through. We're trying to get rotation through the hips as we go through there, and you're gonna get 10. Again, right and left constitutes 1 rep. Now, if you struggle with that one of the things, the alternatives or modifications you can do is just simply go through the low plank position right here and work your hip swivels going from one side to the other. That would be 1 rep, and you would do 10 of those. The goal there, again, is to cycle all the way through there as many rounds as you can get through.